What I like about the Beethoven quote where he's talking about what you are, what everyone else is by accident of birth. What he is because of himself. He's made by himself. I like that quote because it's a testament to hard work. I have a lot of days where work feels really hard. I don't want to do it. I'd rather be doing something else. But you kind of realize the only way you really get good at anything is by pushing yourself through those barriers and arriving on the other side and just kind of seeing what the other side feels like and looks like. Sometimes it's not always worth the work you did. Other times it's worth far more than you can imagine. When I first got into film scoring, I was sure I was going to write scores like Danny Elfman and John Williams, just these big, epic, great film scores is close enough. What I discovered, editors, directors, and producers, they like is more of a minimalist approach to give more room for dialogue. Classic example of old film scoring is you can look at those old Warner Brothers films, Tom and Jerry. When someone falls down the stairs, it's like someone falling down the stairs, that kind of thing, And it's, a little more. It's a little more thought out than what I just did there, but it's the general idea. So yeah, now it's like someone falls down the stairs and someone wants something like, this. And you just might sit here forever. It's like, oh man, that guy fell down the stairs and it was the best day of his life. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And you're maybe you just play this, so you don't even have you don't know if it's major or minor, right? You're just doing this. It's like, no, actually, he broke his arm. It was very sad, So it's that kind of thing. And that's been the biggest difference in scoring film for me, the biggest learning experience. I'm Gus Detar. I own a music studio here in Santa Barbara. I've owned it for the last 10 years, where I've been a professional musician, doing film scores, recording other bands and artists, teaching lessons, and that's what I do. The reason why I do this is because I feel like I have to. I don't really have a choice. I've tried to get away from music in different parts of my life for various reasons. Either I'm burnt out or, I'm gonna be a doctor, a dentist, something easy. But for whatever reason, I always get pulled back into music. I feel like it's something that kind of exists in my person. When I started as a young kid, 5 years old, just started with classical piano, and I was good about practicing, learned that. Went to study piano performance. I just found that I really didn't like the performing aspect, like the nerves associated with it, the prep, all that stuff. So I kind of got into composition. I really loved it because it was a chance to be expressive in a true sense, where you're creating this music and having someone else perform it. I love that idea. This is where I do all my scoring, recording, writing. We're not a multi-million-dollar facility. With the help of my brother and Dan, who I work with, we built this studio from scratch. So when I first started, I was going door to door with a keyboard. It was super depressing, but worked your way through it. And now we have a nice little production studio. So it's humble, but we get the job done. I love everything in here. What I use the most are these channel strips, these Avalon channel strips here. And if you read discussions on them, it's pretty funny. Half the people just absolutely hate them, and the other half are hating the people that hate them because they love them, and then this big fight takes place. But I really like them. This Demeter, it's one of the first one ever built, model number 4. I'm not gonna take it out, but you're just gonna have to believe me. At the time this was built, there was like 4 people using them. Sting, Steely Dan, a couple other people that I can't remember off the top of my head. When we do live tracking, I'll use a variety of these different preamps for coloration and nice mics. I have a couple Neumann mics, which give you really just great character and sound for live instruments. But for the most part, a lot of film scoring is done with what you call software instruments, or it's all digital. What I'm doing right now is kind of a hybrid. We're gonna watch this video and see what we're dealing with. So on this first round, a lot of times there's a temporary track provided. So the temp track I got for this was very much what I would imagine. It was a contemporary classical, I like calling it pop classical, popular chord progressions with a simple kind of repetitive melody line over the top. D minor, and I'm using all, staccato strings. I usually do this on the piano, but then I did this D minor with a B flat. Then I went to a G, minor 7, and then an E 7 to a, what did I go to? A7. I really do enjoy scoring, composing for film. It's really easy to come up with ideas when you have a picture that's kind of dictating some scene instead of trying to just pull it out of thin air. So the next thing I did here is I took these bass, one of them is actually a viola, I think, and just kind of added these tones, very simple, but to kind of add a percussive element. And then I added a bass line. Then, because I am a piano player, I can't help myself. I add piano. Next thing we did, my orchestra, I had all this stuff. Now what we're missing is this kind of melody. There's no melody line. With something like this with no words, it provides a great platform to be more creative with the melody and more busy with the melody line. A lot of times there's someone talking and there's a dialogue going on and there's not room to get wild with the music, because you don't want the last thing that you want in a film score, that anybody wants, especially directors and editors, is something important to be happening in a dialogue and then all this crazy stuff going on in the background that's like the composer's over here screaming, "Hey guys, look at me, I know how to write music, I'm so rad." Well, you have, this poor director and producer edit, they've done so much work to capture these moments, and you're stealing everyone's thunder over here. I think one of the biggest challenge is kind of establishing workflow with whatever filmmaker you're working with, and kind of getting to know that filmmaker's soul. When they say, for example, I need something that is inspirational, to someone that likes swimming in the ocean, that could be something completely different than someone who likes skydiving, right? So understanding what inspirational and what kind of things drive the person behind making the film help kind of communicate and narrow those gaps. All right, Carly, so let's see. A lot of times when you kind of come up with the idea, or you finally come to some kind of agreement between the filmmaker and the composer as to what the feel, what the mood of the music should be, then you bring other musicians in. This is the way I do it.
So for that, you use the recording of just like the higher octave so far?
Yeah, I had both of them in there, and I didn't like the lower one.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see it's just more pure with the higher.
I just think that the piece lacks like drive. You know what I mean? It's like that motion is going, but it's like it's not as present. I almost want it to be percussive. This piece that I'm working on now, I'm not sure exactly what I want. I know I want something driving, but I bring Carly in and we kind of sketch something out together. Hey, why don't we try this, I'm trying to think of common tones that we could use. Something between a D and an F, or an F and a D the whole time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Would those just be eighth notes then? No, it's gotta be faster in eighth notes.
Those are 16th, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, because we're in 6/8. Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly like that, okay? So it's got to be even faster than that. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. So we recorded some kind of ostinato, just really repetitive kind of staccato, almost tremolo, bowing over the top of the score we already have. And I'm going to mix that edit it and see how it all feels with the picture. I think we're good. I think I have enough. I can crop that first ending and end it, no problem. So I think if there were no boundaries to what I could do creatively, I would be just creating music, putting it out there, doing shows, trying to bring happiness to people, I think. Something good to the world through the medium of music. I feel lucky that I'm getting to a spot where I feel like more and more of my ideas I can kind of make happen, which is super cool, but it is a lot of hard work and a lot of doing things that aren't necessarily my favorite things to do in order to kind of create that space. It's part of my spiritual being, I guess. It's part of my soul, part of my spirit. There's something in there that wants to be expressive in a creative medium, and the medium I've chosen, or that it has chosen for me, is music.